Today's show brought to you by Beam. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 47% off your first order. I've got a weekend update for you. Unfortunately, folks, it is my my last one as we wrap up the last week of shows before this next turn in my life. Got a pretty interesting weekend update. Paula did a little bon voyage party for me this week. It was very nice. Paula is always taking good care of me. Big show, a lot to discuss. Haley's show launches tonight at 6 p.m. I'll get to that. So much to talk about. Hey, do you know when your metabolism is working properly, you could feel the benefits in literally every aspect of your life? I found a valuable tool. Gives me insight to create improved metabolism for my body. It's called Lumen, L-U-M-E-N. Lumen is one of the world's first handheld metabolic coaches. It's a device that can help measure your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and provides tailored guidance to help improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and stress management. All you do is breathe into the Lumen first thing in the morning. It'll analyze your metabolism, indicating whether you're burning fat or carbs, and Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for the day based on your measurements. Take the next step, improve your wellness. Go to lumen.me/Bongino to get 20% off your Lumen. That's lumen, Lumen.me/Bongino for 20% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring the show today. Statements of products have not been evaluated by the FDA and not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. And our next sponsor today also is Patriot Mobile. Together, you and I have been fighting for the same thing, freedom, liberty, and the country we love. One of our biggest supporters over the years has been Patriot Mobile. They stuck with us through thick and thin. Thank you, guys. If you're part of the Bongino Army, check out Patriot Mobile, please. We need to keep supporting companies that share our values and what we believe in. You could switch to Patriot Mobile with confidence, knowing you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. Not only do you have the Bongino guarantee, you'll get the Patriot Mobile coverage guarantee. Remember, every dollar you spend supports a company who believes in the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responders. Switching is easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will help you find the perfect plan for you, your family, even your business. So go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month of service with promo code Dan. Can't think of a single reason you should be on Patriot Mobile. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, fellas, let's get this party started today. So we did the show live. We recorded. I don't want to lie to you guys. We recorded some of it in advance on Thursday. Friday, I had to take off, was up doing some stuff up north. So you could probably tell if you go back and watch that I was looking in the wrong spot, which you would think, having been doing this forever, I kept looking at the monitor below. So today, I'm going to look at you in the camera and tell me in the chat if my eyes start dipping, because we are live today. I promise you, if I had a watch on, I'd show you. Oh, look, I can, here, there's my phone. So there's the actual live chat. But out of respect for the guys who had to do a crash course in the new studio, Thursday, we had to kind of pre-record some of that just to be sure there were no major, foul-ups. These guys have been amazing. They have learned all of this new software. Guys, give a little wave. Go to show everybody you got to do it. There we go. Look at you. There you go. You see Justin, 7-foot-tall Justin, blocking out everything. It's like the eclipse. You can barely see Guy or Michael in there. I just found out today Justin's 4 inches taller than Michael, who I thought was like 7 feet tall himself. I guess it's because they're sitting down all the time. I keep messing that up. So, weekend update for you. Paula was nice enough to throw a bon voyage party for me on Saturday night. All of my friends showed up at the house, and it was really an amazing moment and a party. Everybody had such nice things to say. I want to thank everybody who showed up. My friend Cleve, Steve, my friend Arvin. We had the Martin County Sheriff showed up, the nicest guy, John Budensank. And thank you to Martin County Sheriff's Office for being so you know what I'm saying, on top of everything. We've had a lot of, obviously, a lot of interest since the story became public, what I'll be doing next week. You guys are the best. But it was a wonderful party. It was good to see close friends. It was kind of more of an inner circle party. The guys were all there. Haley was there. Speaking of which, Haley's show launches tonight. The Evening Scroll with Haley Karania, 6 p.m. You can see it Eastern Time tonight. The show is amazing. You saw a couple of her test runs last week. She is super talented, so give her a follow on Silverlock Media as they take this from me and going forward in the future. Friday night, I was up in D.C., though I hadn't been back there in a long time, and went to Bobby Van's Steakhouse. And I got to tell you, folks, it is interesting for life to come full 180 for me, Well, actually, in this case, I take that back, 360. I made the mistake. I always kind of knock other people for saying, hey, the 360. No, 360, you're back in the same spot. And I was. Paula and I used to go to Bobby Van's when I worked in D.C., and she worked down the block at this company called SIA at the time. And to go back, the steak was amazing, by the way. It was just, it was an amazing experience to have just, you know, I just feel like it was a very kind of emotional to cross the bridge, look at the Jefferson Memorial again, and go back into the city I left years ago. So I'll be back there on Monday where I start my job. The media, again, was stunned. They were shocked. You guys saw my tweet this weekend? I had to address many media questions. Folks, they're unaware that there is a business model in the media where they sell these things called spots, sometimes known as advertisements. You guys ever heard of this model? Justin's like, I know it's new. It's about 100 years old. So it's about five times the length of Justin's life, but that they just figured that out. They just figured that out, how that works. So I addressed them en masse in a viral tweet this weekend. But thank you guys all for your patience with everything. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get to the show. So first, the Bongino rule is in, I don't even want to say full effect. It is in like full effect. There was a shooting at the White House involving the Secret Service. This is a Braveheart, Mel Gibson, hold moment. I'm going to tell you a couple things about it, but first, here's some news coverage of what happened. Check this out.
And the US Secret Service has shot a man near the White House in Washington, D.C. That's according to our colleagues at NBC News in the States. It happened shortly after midnight, after an armed confrontation with law enforcement, according to the Secret Service there. They say local police had reported what they described as a suicidal individual who had possibly travelled to Washington, D.C. from Indiana. They later located a vehicle and spotted a person on foot who matched the description. They then brandished a firearm, the report says, and an armed confrontation ensued, during which shots were fired by Secret Service personnel, they've confirmed.
Sorry, someone told me we missed it. We missed the bell? Can't miss the bell. And then someone else in the chat said the sound is great. Thank you. The sound is super crisp in the studio. Much different than the old office, right? That was just a converted studio. Listen, a couple of things on this. Two big takeaways. Number one, on the hold front. Is this a suicide by cop situation where someone gets out of the car, wants to die, and intentionally creates a use of force situation where the police officer, to save their own life or someone else's, has to engage? Possibly. The evidence is certainly pointing in that direction. But I've seen so many conspiracies kind of jump up on Twitter. And the thing is, just hold. The information will come out over the course of the week. Let the investigators get over there and see what happened. And then we'll all formulate opinion. Again, the Bongino rule is this. Talk about a story. I'm talking about it right now. But there's no reason to jump to some final conclusion about what happened before the data sets come in. I mean, you guys all know this. I don't want to sound like a jerk. I'm not trying to be a tool. It's just let the data come in before you figure out what the math problem says. You need the data first. So just wait. Second, I get a ton of questions about this. And whenever there are use of force incidents at the White House, people are under this mistaken perception that the rules of engagement for Secret Service are different at the White House, and they're not. Secret Service agents and uniformed division officers, those are separate branches within the Secret Service. One's a federal investigator, 1811, one are uniformed police officers. But the rules of engagement are the exact same. There's no special rules of engagement there where, because it's the White House, you know, it's like a, kill on demand thing. That's not the way it works. That's not the way any of this works. That only happens in movies. So just hold. We'll take a breather on this. We'll readdress it if more stuff comes out later in the week, and we'll see what really happened. I'm sure as they start to dig into the background of what this individual, and do like a social media scrub, we'll have an idea of what really went on, okay? So that was a big story this weekend. Also, breaking this weekend, President Trump, the winning will not stop. We are finally looking at a president, staring in the face of a president who is transactional. I know some people don't like that. I understand. There are still people in love with passionate speeches, and that's great. I like to speak passionately about stuff too. It's fantastic. It's good to be a good speaker. I hope you think that of me. If you don't, you don't. However, President Trump speaks passionately about stuff, but make no mistake, he is a transactional businessman. He wants results. He sees the world as a spreadsheet. This is an issue I am passionate about too, but I see the spreadsheets too. What the hell is the Department of Education doing? We've been funding this entity hundreds of billions of dollars over its decades in existence, and nobody can produce a single data set showing that education's gotten better. Here he is this weekend with Maria Bartiromo saying, listen, man, spreadsheets, kids. Is this a +1 or a -1? Because I don't see it. Check this out.
We want to bring the schools back to the states because we have the worst, literally, we have the worst education department and education in the world. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, and yet we're #1 when it comes to cost per pupil. We want to not only have school choice, which is important, but we want to bring it back to the states so the states can run the schools, and they will be every bit as good as the top educational departments anywhere in the world.
If there was ever an example of transactional President Trump, this is it. He doesn't want to hear your flowery fairy tales about how every single student deserves an education. Yes, he knows that. So do I. They do. But they're not getting it. Your taxpayer does. This is money taken from you, folks. It's not fake money. It's not monopoly money. It's not collect 250 because you were on Park Avenue, whatever it is. This is real money. Real money being lost because you're shuttling it to the federal government to take a cut, to send it back to the states for programs that don't work, and nobody seems to be paying attention to it outside of the conservative movement and President Trump. I asked last week, and these guys are good. Last week I said, you guys remember that story? It was from a couple of years ago. It was out of the Baltimore area media market. The story was almost unbelievable when I first saw the headline, to the point where I had to do one of those check it twice things. You ever shoot on the range and make sure it's empty? Like, check it twice. I had to check this one twice. Here's 7 on your side, ABC, local Baltimore. 23 Baltimore schools have 0 students proficient in math. State test results real. How the hell do you do that? How the hell do you have 0 students? You would think by chance, wait, it's not funny. Justin, am I crazy? Like by chance you would get one super genius kid in the class who, even though the instruction's not going well, can at least be proficient in math, right? Maybe he figured it out at home. Maybe they used the Khan Academy or something like that. How the hell do you have 23 schools with a donut, 0 students proficient in math?
It's kind of impressive.
It almost, like the level of failure, right? You're like, how did they do that? Michael, it's almost like they were trying. It's like, how do we get every single kid to not be proficient? We're not talking about excelling. We're just talking about like basic proficiency. How do you do that? Is this intentional? What are you doing? I told you when I ran for office in Maryland, there was this guy. He was not a Republican, by the way, but he met with us. And he said, Dan, you're looking at this all wrong. You think that a lot of these administrators and people in the education bureaucracy care about the kids. I said, well, I hope they do. He said, they don't. He said, it is a jobs program for them, and that is it. He said, that's all they see it as. How do I maintain my employment and my raises, and that's it. I got to tell you, I still remember that conversation. Folks, the left has been entirely collapsing. Moving on here. You know, I have this theory of what happened in the Donald Trump era for the left, not us. We're really good at analyzing our situation. We're getting better at diagnosing the left. But one of the things I've been talking about for years now is this kind of show your butts theory of politics for the left, where this is important. I want you to understand this because none of this segment is going to make any sense if you don't understand the mechanics of how this works. There's always been rage at Republicans. I mean, you guys remember, you're not that old, the guy crewing it. With George W. Bush and Mitt Romney, the Democrats, I understand, but on the other side of the political aisle, have always engaged in kind of viscerally personal politics with Republicans. Remember the whole George W. Bush, blood for oil, he's trying to kill us all, that kind of thing. Mitt Romney, the binder's full of women and all that stuff. But can we all agree there is nothing you've ever seen like the rage directed at Donald Trump? So what's the show your butts theory? Well, no one wants to see anybody. No one wants to see that. But the Democrats continue to do it. I was trying to explain this to Guy beforehand because he wanted to cut a piece out of the show. I'm like, no. This is exactly where I'm going with this. The show your butts theory is this. You got these Democrats showing the ugly side of them all the time. And you're like, why are they doing that? People don't. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see it. Why do you keep doing it? It's because they can't stop. There's this perpetual rage machine on the left that just reviles Donald Trump. So what winds up happening is the Democrats are engaging in a repeated pattern of behavior that is counterproductive to their end goal of getting votes and approval from the public. But they have to one-up each other each time. Does that make sense? You show your butt. I'm going to show you everything. Oh, they can't stop. They have to constantly one-up each other. It is the exact opposite of transactional Donald Trump. Donald Trump sees the world as spreadsheets and business. The left is so involved in the passion of it that they feel like in order to get TV time and donors, that whoever does something crazy, they have to do something crazier. I want to start with this and you'll see what I mean. So there's this 13-year-old young man, DJ Daniel. This poor young man has cancer, something I've dealt with, not as severe as this young man has, DJ Daniel. But he gave this incredible and this emotional interview about Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump's supposed to be the cold-hearted fascist guy, if you believe the left. But Donald Trump brought this young man to the State of the Union. They gave him an honorary Secret Service badge. I reached out to Director Curran from the Secret Service and personally thanked him for doing it. I think it was an amazing gesture. I want you to watch him first. And the left refused at the State of the Union to even get up and acknowledge that this young man was there and had been through a real struggle all too many Americans are facing with cancer. Check this out.
But you want to know the craziest part? Because my mom bathes me and my brothers all together. And out of nowhere, I locked up. And then my dad was calling my name. And I started going to the slow thing. And he said, stop playing with me. And I started to act, I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow. And then as soon as he said that, we was speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital. And then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, nah, we gonna have to go in his brain tonight. Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries. And that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. They had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. I don't want to kill anybody's mood on a Monday morning. I'm really excited to be here for my last week. But I know as a 47-year-old, when I was maybe 46, 47, when I was diagnosed with cancer and we didn't know what kind, and they tell you it could be this, which is terminal, or it could be this, which is treatable. In that period between when I didn't know and when I found out it was Hodgkin's lymphoma, you hear they say your life flashes in front of your eyes, but it does. It does. And I had a problem with that as a 46-year-old with a different skill set of coping skills, having been through so much. The young man's 13 years old. You are witnessing really a travesty of modern politics, that the Democrats decided to make a political issue out of this young man's battle with cancer, who is unbelievably eloquent in his struggle, where he says, I don't know what's ahead. I didn't know what to do. I was coming home from Sloan Kettering after a really talented surgeon, Bhuv Singh was his name, amazing, at Sloan Kettering. I want to thank for cut this tumor out of my neck. And I was flying home 2 days later, and there was a guy on the plane, I don't know if I ever told you this, and he recognized me. I don't know if it's from Fox or the show or whatever, but he gave me kind of a nod, like I know what you're going through. And I don't care how this sounds or what, but I just broke down, man. It was hard. I just broke down. It all caught up to me then, And this young man going through this, and the Democrats making a political football out of this, you are watching a total brand collapse of their party. I thought they were in it for the little guy. damn shame. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll show you what I mean again, how this is really deeply impacting them badly. Their brand is entirely collapsed. Look, I got this note from Brickhouse Nutrition, and I got to tell you, it kind of hit me hard. Brickhouse has been with us for a long time. We've had a great business with them for nearly a decade. They were our first sponsor. I'm going to tell you right now, Miles, the guy who runs that company, loves this country. He loves this Bongino army, and he has been a loyal friend to me. You trusted their products just like I did. So as a thank you, they're doing something huge for you. For this week only, they're giving you guys the biggest discount they ever offered, 40% off everything. Lean, which I used to drop 30 pounds. I needed it. Field of Greens and all their top-of-the-line products, I use them. It's their way of saying thank you for being part of the Bongino and Brickhouse family for all this time. But this is just for you guys. It's only for this week. So go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use code Dan to get 40% off. They've had my back. We've had their back. They're showing their appreciation for us, and I really appreciate it. If you've ever bought before, you can still get 40% off with this deal. And thank you, Miles. This is really nice of you. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use my promo code Dan for 40% off. That's code Dan at brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. You guys are great. And next sponsor there, American Financing. Listen, I don't know your exact financial situation, but if you're like thousands of homeowners, American Financing talks to every month. Some of you are struggling to keep up, drowning in high-interest debt, and it's not your fault. Life just got really expensive. Inflation hits hard, and you're still carrying credit card balances with 20% plus interest rates while the mortgage sits untouched, and you're ignoring the one thing that could turn it all around, your home. American Financing can help. Would you trade 10 minutes for a shot at saving an average of $800 every single month? Because that's exactly what homeowners are doing when they call American Financing. A simple, no-obligation call could change everything. They have a team of salary-based mortgage consultants, so there isn't any incentive to put you in a loan that doesn't make sense, and there are no upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Call American Financing today and start feeling that relief. 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. AmericanFinancing.net, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Hey, I'd be remiss also, again, just before I get started, if I did not thank my wife. I saw Paula this morning, and I was getting changed for work and ready to bounce out to the studio. And she is just, folks, if you could give her a little shout out in the chat, I'd really appreciate it. She is running around. We are doing so much, trying to move. We don't even have a place yet. The place we were going to get, it didn't work out. So we're actually moving right now to nowhere yet until we figure it out. She's over at the other house trying to get stuff for us. She's packing. She's just been doing so much, dealing with the transition of the business. So to my unbelievable, and by the way, threw this party for me this weekend. We had about 50 people show up. My team was there. So Paula, thank you so much for me, and I know that everybody watching feels the same way. You're amazing. I saw her this morning getting changed, and I said, hey, I'm sorry. And she said, you're sorry for what? I said, I'm sorry you married a guy like me, you know? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, you know, you could have married some rich doctor who works a 9 to 5 or something and stayed home, and married a guy like me who's always, you know, throwing curveballs. I take that back, throwing knuckleballs. So you don't know where it's going to go. So I appreciate that. You're a good woman. Thank you. The best. All right. Man, folks, I'm telling you, the last week's going to be tough. So if you guys will just bear with me on this emotional roller coaster, I would so deeply appreciate it. I know you all understand. But we do have content to cover. So this is what I'm talking about. You're witnessing a total brand collapse of a party that prided itself, the Democrats in the past, of being the party of the little guy, the party of the working man. And in this effort to one-up the attacks on Donald Trump, what they've done is they've completely forfeited and unmoored their boat to that brand label. But here's the thing. It is okay to remake your party with a new brand. You want to go from the nice guy to the James Dean rebel? Make the transition, hire a branding guy, whatever. The problem I see with the Democrats, and pay attention because this is the most important point I'm going to make on this, is they've unmoored themselves from their initial brand, working man, little guy, coexist, tolerance, whatever it may be, and they're now just drifting at sea. I mean it. I'll do a little test in the chat. Tell me in the chat right now what their new bumper sticker brand is. 3 words or less. What are the Democrats about now? The answer is nobody. Wokeism, maybe? Nobody really knows. Here, this is a TikTok video. TikTok's still a very powerful platform, whether we like it or not. Here's a TikTok influencer here. You could not pay me to be a Democrat again. This is what brand collapse looks like. Check this out.
You couldn't pay me to be a liberal again. You couldn't do it. After watching that speech, I am convinced that Democrats hate America. The way that they didn't stand for Laken Riley's mother, the way that they didn't stand for that little boy who has brain cancer, the way that they didn't stand for that young man who got accepted into West Point. Are you with me on this? The way that they hate America.
Yes, I know. I see the chat. I know I got a couple emails this weekend. I see the rage from the other side in the chat. But folks, don't fret. It's not it's a sign of something. What is one of the golden rules of this show? Always gauge the effectiveness of what you're doing by the response of your political opponents. That's why you're seeing the rage directed at the show. Click the views up before you leave. It's okay with us. Your brand's collapsing, not ours. We're doing just fine. I'll show it to you coming up in a minute because receipts matter. I will show it to you. But if you think that's the only one, you're like, oh my gosh, that's just one episode of this. One, they're all over TikTok. And I'm not telling you this is a scientific survey of Democrats and all that other stuff. I'm not telling you that. I am telling you, however, it's out there. It's very real. I don't know this person. But here's another one. A Democrat voter who wakes up after the State of the Union speech and watched that entire episode, watched the brand collapse. It's like, I don't want that. That's not my brand. Check this out.
I cannot tell you how refreshing it was to wake up this morning and hear from other Democrats and see on my post other Democrats who are just as furious and ready to friggin' jump ship as I am. I am not buying into what they're selling, because after what we saw yesterday, I'm actually glad that they pulled that yesterday, because people like me who have been disillusioned by the Democratic Party for a long time got to see an evilness there, got to see a diabolical side of the Democratic Party who's basically saying, we want you to fail. We don't care if you fail. It's like the scene in The Wizard of Oz when they finally go back to see the Great Oz and they pull the curtain back and it's just a little old man just standing there like that doesn't have a fucking clue. I'm not going to be afraid to voice my opinion anymore. I'm done. I am done. I am done. And you're not going to bully me off my own page by thinking logical thoughts. I'm not going to be gaslit by my own party. Not one day more. Not one day more.
Do you notice she emphasizes the lack of fear moving forward? Are you guys and ladies out there catching the difference between 2016 and what I'm getting at is the first Donald Trump presidential term was such a shock to the system of the establishment, by the way, the right and the left, that it was kind of cool to be, remember the resistance and all of that? And then they got smoked so bad and realized that they lost the popular vote. Regardless of it was 50% or not, our movement, the MAGA movement, got more votes than you did. So if you're going to suggest you're popular, then just by sheer numbers, our movement is more popular, right? If you believe in just this thing called math. You see how now the entire resistance movement has completely collapsed, and now we're getting to the point where the second guy's getting up and dancing. Some of you will get that. And then the third guy. And now people are starting to realize whether it's, I saw this thing, DEI, the whole office of DEI was shuttered at University of Virginia. It's all collapsing now. It's all collapsing around them as people realize their positions were never popular. They were never popular. And now all of a sudden, whatever the stupid word is, cool, it's edgy now to be on our side and not on their side. And everybody's starting to see it. I'll never forget after the election a couple months ago, was it Dana Perino on Fox, saying for the first time in a while, she had seen a bunch of red MAGA hats in New York City, and no one was like throwing things at them like Game of Thrones ex-Giffy. Again, if you know, you know. I got more, including receipts. I'm going to show you again how this kind of show your butts theory here works, how they've been forcing the Trump era, they forced Democrats to take unpopular positions. They didn't force them. The Democrats have taken unpopular positions despite no force to do it. And they're just doing it because they have to one-up each time. You'll see what I mean with this clip coming up next from CNN, no less. Our last break today, MyPillow is excited to announce they're having the first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on the season's flannel sheets. Queen size, only $59.98. King, $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on the brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike's worn every day. For over 20 years, they come in men's and women's. They're made right here in the USA. Get the 2025 six-piece My Towel set for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely limited, so get them now before they go. And their best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of this first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Dan or call 1-800-637-4982. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship has sailed. Right now, every order ships absolutely free. Shop their first ever mega sale with free shipping on every order. Once again, go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Dan or call 1-800-637-4982. And our last spot before I get to that clip, you'll see, I always bring the receipts, folks. Beam, we've been working with them for a while. I want to introduce you to another one of their great products, Beam's Dream Capsules. Dream Capsules contain the same great ingredients that come together to help you bring you the best night's sleep guaranteed. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and delivering results. It's a science-backed nighttime blend packed with ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Dream is made with powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Beam's already helped to improve over 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people across the country wake up and feel their best. Here's the deal. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of 47% off. Try their best-selling Dream Capsule. Get up to 47% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for up to 47% off. Support an American company. Invest in yourself and get a good night's sleep tonight. So here it is. Receipts here. Again, CNN segment, so you can't accuse me of some unnecessary partisan bias. This is definitely not a conservative outlet. Showing on this men and women's sports issue how the Democrats, despite the fact that they know this is an absolute loser, even Gavin Newsom, very far-left governor of California, is all of a sudden changing his mind on this now. You see how people are starting to get up and dance now? And the second person and the third person, the Democrats need that dancing movement too, or their party's going to be done. You're going to witness brand collapse that's going to be generational. Listen to these polling numbers on this specific issue. Check this out.
Such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports.
They don't, I'm telling you, they don't care. I want you to witness this disparity, this brick wall between the two parties now, where you have this transactional president, Donald Trump, who sees the world as a spreadsheet, whether you like it or not. He wants results. He's not interested in flowery speeches. Then you've got the Democrats lost in this passion and emotion. If for an issue, they're willing to die on this hill, that Americans are against them resoundingly by a massive margin. You're talking about they'd have to make up 30 polling points to get back to 50-50. By the way, thank you, Mozina 14. I'm going to miss you, Dan. I'm going to miss you guys, too. Annie gives a shout-out to Paula. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to read as many of these as I can during the clips. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. They love the new studio. You guys like it? I know who said it looked like Crowder's with the brick wall in back? Those are New York City bricks. For those for those who missed the Friday or Thursday show, last week, the flag, that was from the Patriot Awards when I was with Fox. The badge next to it is a inaugural Secret Service badge from when George W. Bush won. The next one over there, you see the American flag, is a delighted American. We got a lot of American flag. We love America, of course. We got the hard American flag, the Patriot Awards. That is my Secret Service badge next to it from when it was with the Treasury Department in Lucite. Got a series of great books in there. Got all the civil rights amendments there. Got the Bongino baseball, Auburn basketball signed by the team. Bo Jackson signed helmet, got to represent Auburn. My books at the bottom. And, of course, a Muttley and Rock'em Sock'em robots. Man, you guys are good at this. Look at it now. What are you showing them, the ceiling now, too? Oh, of course. And that is going out to Anita and the crew. You guys can take that with you. The famous Fugazi head, which I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of him over the next few years. I'm sure he'll have a lot to add to the conversation. Hey, here is this is probably my favorite clip of the entire show. This is the one. No, you guys like this one. Okay, they wanted to cut out a different one. If there has ever been a gift to the MAGA movement on the other side of the aisle, folks, it is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. This is so transformational for us. If more Democrats would emulate the Jasmine Crockett style of speaking out publicly, passionately about things she has no idea, it would be a huge boon to the polling numbers for our side. Now, here's Jasmine Crockett, who unbelievably says on a cable news network that entering the country illegally is not illegal. Entering the country, she uses the word illegally. In case you think I'm crazy, I'll play it for you. Entering the country illegally is illegal because you entered the country illegally in violation of the law. I'll show it to you coming up next, what the actual code is. Community notes struck again. But here, listen to it first.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated.
Thank you, Elon Musk, again, for the glorious Community Notes feature. Yes, it is a crime. See 8 United States Code, Section 1325, 1325. You can look it up yourself, of course, if you'd like, but don't let facts get in the way of a silly argument. She literally said, and oh man, I use that word, I hate it. It is not illegal, or excuse me, it's not against the law to enter the country illegally. I encourage you to slow down and think about what you just stated.
It's not a crime, which is why there's a crime. It's not a crime, which is a crime. It's not a crime.
No, it is. It is. The gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to predict something, though. Did I say this before, guys? That there is going to be, mark this down, mark it down. I won't be here to comment on it later.
They're so frustrated.
I can almost guarantee you Jasmine Crockett and AOC are going to turn into rivals soon. Because I don't think AOC likes it that Jasmine Crockett has taken her place as the greatest Democrat gift to Republicans. I don't think she likes it. I don't. She's getting all this attention, Congresswoman Crockett now, at the expense of AOC, who was the gift that kept on giving in the past. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I think they're going to turn into rivals. Folks, the left, of course, cannot get their sea legs about them. You've seen this disorganized kind of attack style back, the show your butts thing, the position on the men and women's sports issue. You're seeing how bad it is. It's got to be bad when Gavin Newsom, who has been traditionally the left-wing lodestar for the left. I mean, this guy, he's been kind of like an anchor for leftist policies and insulated in the state of California. When Gavin Newsom starts to recognize how the Republicans are working, flooding the zone, what we call rock'em sock'em robots, what Bannon calls flood the zone. I don't care what you call it. When he starts recognizing that, you know what we're doing is right. He understands this is the only way to roll. Here, listen to him on his new podcast. He had Charlie Kirk on as a guest. Check this out.
I think you talked about it the other day. A lot of folks were talking about that Carville article where he talked about
roll over and play dead.
Roll over. In essence, he said that. I think it was a strategic retreat, right? That we need to come back. Trump's starting to implode. His numbers are getting soft. This was even before the tariff issues, et cetera. And then come back and strike when hot. And I immediately, no BS, thought about you, who's just 24/7 flooding the zone, owning this space, every day getting a convert, every day picking up 1, 2, 10,000 folks, continuing the momentum, coming out of this damn election. And then I'm thinking about, we're going to stand back and watch you run circles around us for 6 months, the next 2 or 3 years, waiting for the moment to finally strike?
Let me just throw something out there, by the way. It was very limited, but I saw some criticism on social media that Charlie did this interview with Gavin Newsom. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me in the chat. You guys, obviously, you're the only thing that matters, the show, while I'm with you this last week. I have zero problem whatsoever. If I was staying in this space, which I'm not, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd go on the show. Why not? What I don't understand with the criticism of Charlie is if we're not willing to go on a show like that where some third party may be listening, right? In other words, it's not a liberal or a Democrat. It's a seemingly kind of nonpartisan third party guy who can go either way. And we can just flip a few of them and move them over. That's how Donald Trump was so successful. I said that to rewind the tape. Go back. This is live, so we can't. But if we could, I would have. If we were taping this, I would delete that. Donald Trump won the way he won precisely because he went places and talked to people that we hadn't spoken to before. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me in the chat, Bongino, one of our last polls, yes, Charlie was right to go on the show. No, he wasn't. I'm telling you he was. Donald Trump went to the Bronx. Donald Trump was doing rallies in traditionally left-wing areas. Donald Trump got historic numbers of black, Hispanic voters, Democrats, union workers flipping over, constituencies that had always gone lockstep for the left. Let me see. What's the results, guys? Does this talk back work? Hold on. Did that work? Yes, look at that.
Yes, it worked.
Hey, look at this, guys. We got a talk back thing. Now, does it mute the mic here? Sorry, can you guys hear this? Okay, no, they can't. I'm in love with all this new tech. These guys are teaching me all these new gizmos. We didn't even have a cough button last time. But when I was coughing all over the place. And by the way, I have been cursing Guy. He gave me some fungus cold last week he had, and I had it Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm finally getting over this thing. He gave me the studio, coughing all over the place, using the cough button. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, okay, good. You all agree with me. We're not going to convince people on the other side that our ideas are better if we're not willing to take our ideas to the other side and convince them they're better. It doesn't even make any sense. And what better time to do it than now? Listen, we have mastered the Republican Party, the MAGA movement. Let me be specific. The Republicans are coming around. The MAGA movement has mastered the art of social media influencing, whether it's memes, whether it's videos. They have mastered this. They are so good. It's not but seconds before Democrats post cringy videos. You saw the fight one. I was going to play it today, but you've seen it 1,000 times. Like, pick your fighter. It's AOC like, posing on. It's ridiculous. The video is so dumb. Even CNN was like, "Did we really need to see this right now?" Of course we didn't, right? But believe it or not, here's another one. This is Democrat Rep Rosa DeLauro posting a cringe video. Now, listen to me. Here's the thing they're not telling you. You may have seen this already, but I want you to listen to the kind of the lingo she uses. I will bet you some young staffer went to a TikTok video and was like, "Hey, man, let's do like Urban Dictionary and get some cool words in here and throw them in and we'll look like we're part of the crew." Folks, you're trying too hard if you're doing that. You're trying too hard. Listen, you'll hear the words and you'll be like, "What does she mean by that?" Check this out.
Yo, this is the Ranking Rizzler on appropriations, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era. All right, besties. House appropriation is the money moves in Congress. We are not chasing the bag. We are the bag. Democrats are making life smoother through government funding. It's giving, it's giving. So Sigma, main character energy. But Republicans' project 2025 is mad sus.
Sorry.
Hello, fellow kids.
I know. I'm trying to write down all the kind of edgy, cool lingo words that Rosa DeLauro. So she's the. Can you guys look this up? What is the Rizzler? Can we do this on the air? Because I really don't know. I heard some of these other ones, but is the Rizzler? Is it like, I hope it's not some like dark like triple like the Rizzler is a social media well known for Riz face? Oh, I've heard of the Riz before, like charisma. It's like short for. But have you guys ever said that? Like, damn, what a show today! You're the Rizzler. I never. So we got the Rizzler. She throws Bestie in. Okay, Bestie, like best friend. I've heard my daughter say that, so we'll give her a pass on Bestie. And then she quotes main character energy. I saw this once on TikTok. I found out like this is like kind of like you're like the guy, like the chest puffer in the room. You have main character energy. I saw one time a TikTok video and they were talking about showing up to a wedding with main character energy. And then we're not chasing the bag. We are the bag. Who's the bag? What's in the bag? Is there something in the bag I'm unaware of? Is there an actual bag or is this just some kind of rhetorical bag I missed? But I think from now on, we will try to incorporate at least once a day in every show the term the Rizzler. I'm kidding, of course.
She also said skibbity.
Oh, skibbity. What is skibbity? I don't know what that is.
It actually doesn't mean anything, I don't think.
Oh, is that folks in the chat, can you help me? I know we have a lot of younger viewers. What is skibbity? Is that supposed to mean something? Skibbity. Can you mix them? Can you be like the skibbity Rizzler bestie with main character energy holding the bag? Is that possible to put them all in one sentence, or is that way too much influencer era? But you know what, Michael, we need your esposa right now. Evita is familiar with all this stuff. She doesn't talk like that, but Evita is all over the whole culture stuff. Her and Haley are going to be all over this stuff. They know what this is like. You got to, can you have her?
Bring Haley for like a live translation next time.
Can you do that? Can you have Haley maybe this week on our 6 p.m. show? Skibbity, also called Skibbity Toilet, is a popular catchphrase, came from a YouTube video. It has no inherent meaning, but it's often used for comedic effect. So let's see if it's funny. Hey guys, Skibbity. Okay, no, it's really not. It's really not. Skibbity doo.
Too bad we don't have another sponsor for me to transition you into.
Oh, Guy is, I know. Guy's like dying. He's like, okay, I've had enough of this. Okay. This is one of those Leo Getz moments from Lethal Weapon 3, right? Okay. All right, moving on. Folks, they're singing again. Again, back to the, let's anchor this again, what this segment is about, because you know me, once I get into something, I can't stop sometimes because I find it hilarious. They cannot get their sea legs. They are so off on the messaging rather than getting back to the post-George H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan era when they re-anchored themselves to the Democrat Leadership Council in mainstream kind of Democrat values. They can't do it. They're singing again. Here was an anti-Trump science rally. I'm not sure, like the science, like wear your mask or take the vaccine is going to stop you from getting COVID. Here's an anti-Trump science rally in D.C. And the singing. What is with the singing? At least make it good singing. Check this out.
Please sing along with us. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Wait, Guy's telling me that's not even it? There's another one? Remember Francis Collins? Remember him with all the emails about the Barrington Declaration during COVID, which basically said common sense that the only thing that was going to stop this was some form of herd immunity? You remember this guy? Here's Francis Collins. Listen, if you're going to sing, can we all agree? Yes or no in the chat? We only got 1 week of chatting together left. Yes or no in the chat? I'm actually not totally against the singing, but you got to bring out people who can actually sing. You got yourself a Morgan Wallen out there? Hey, man, I may not agree. I'll listen to that. I don't want to listen to Francis Collins. Check this out.
Well, come on. All the good people who are part of this family, this is a song for all the good people. We're joined together by this noble dream.
He's like, there's no amount of studio cleanup we can do, mixing or anything else to make that sound good. There's no auto-tune or anything.
Yeah, there is. It's called mute.
Yeah, mute. Yes, that's a good point, Justin. There is actually a way to make that sound good. He's calling it the... You can't hear me talk. That's the only way to make that sound good. Folks, they cannot get their sea legs. But again, anchoring where we started in the segment, the MAGA movement is really, really good at this. And it's hilarious to listen to or read, in this case, Forbes put a headline in. Vice President J.D. Vance posts a meme of himself. He didn't even call him vice president. It says J.D. Vance. As largely unflattering Vance memes flood social media. Unflattering? Do you have any idea how the meme game works? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I know we laugh a lot during the show. Obviously, there's a heavy dose of sarcasm. I get that. But I promise you, the things we talk about and the things that are going through my head as me and the team are putting the show together are deadly serious. The education issue, the idea of re-anchoring our government in actual science, serious stuff.
Cat likes me.
But we live in a world right now where social media matters, memes and other things do. They influence people. You may not like it, but that's where we are. There has not been a president or vice president who's understood this better than Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. No one. Vance is hilarious, and you don't have to like it, but this thing went nuclear this weekend. If you've ever seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this, by the way, is one of my favorite memes, Giphies I've ever seen on X. J.D. Vance put his face over the famous Leo face. We love this. I wish I could explain to you, if you're in the chat, what this is, but it's one of those things, guys, wouldn't you agree? You just have to be on X or Truth to see it. After a few times, you'll get what they're doing. I can't explain it. But if you know, you know. And this one was absolutely hilarious. Hey, can we jump ahead to just Kristi Noem on CBS? I don't want to leave the show today without getting to that. Would you mind? Okay, this is important because we're going to be discussing a lot of national security stuff this week. It obviously matters to me. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was on CBS. My apologies for the mic discipline. Believe me, I know. See how when I get away from the mic, you can't hear me anymore? We didn't have that in the other studio. So the reason it sounds crisp is because of what they did to manipulate the system. The downside is you really have to eat the microphone. So I even have it over here. Look, on mic. Stay on the mic because I'm such an animated guy. Am I? Thank you, Guy. Wow, Guy, a compliment. I never get a compliment from Guy. He's like, you actually did a very nice job. Never. That is not a Guy thing at all. Here is the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem about tariffs and the fentanyl trafficking coming into the country. This stuff matters because it is a specific, late 1970s statute Donald Trump is using and his team, President Trump, to impose these tariffs. That's why this is important. Check this out.
In the conversations that I've had this week with Canadian officials, they were hoping to avoid the tariffs and had a lot of conversations, but not a lot of action. So this is the hope, is that the fact that President Trump has said something and now has enforced consequences, we really are hoping for even better partnerships. We need access to their criminal background system so that we know when someone crosses that northern border, who they are, why they're in our country, and who they may be partnering with. We also need them to work with us on identifying packages, technology investments. Canada has said they will do that. We just want to see them actually do it. In the past, promises have been made by both Mexico and Canada that they didn't follow through on. Their naming of a fentanyl czar in Canada is important. That's great. Now let's see really what happens. President Trump's been strong, and I think that's why you've seen the data going our direction. But boy, every day people in this country are dying of overdoses, and I don't want any more families to have to deal with that tragedy if it can be avoided and we can have a stronger relationship.
Folks, we're going to need some cooperation from Canada and Mexico to our north and south, respectively, in this drug fight. There's no question about it. However, Canada, just this weekend, Mark Carney, who is very liberal, took the place of Justin Trudeau. Carney came out very combative, extremely combative. I say that because this administration, if you fell into the trap of, well, take them seriously but not literally, you're making a big mistake. Whether it's Secretary Noem, whether it's President Trump or Vice President Vance, they are deadly serious about this. They want this stopped, and they're going to use every tool they have to make it stop. Sex trafficking, drug trafficking. You don't have to agree with it, but they're going to do it. And you have grossly, grossly misjudged their intentions, if you're taking them seriously but not literally. And Carney came out unbelievably combative. He's going to say, I'm protecting Canadian interests, fine. But it's in Canadian interest to get these tariffs reduced. It's in our interest to get your tariffs on our products reduced, fix this fentanyl problem, fix the trafficking problem, fix the illegal immigration problem, and then everybody's happy in our hemisphere. But don't make that mistake. You better take them seriously and literally. Folks, don't miss Haley's show tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Live here, the Evening Scroll with Haley Karania, her first full live show tonight. Really looking forward to seeing that. Thank you all for tuning in. By the way, if you want to give her a follow, Anita and the crew, put this link up if you would mind, the radio show, rumble.com/Avita for Avita's show, rumble.com/Haley, Hayley. Just give them a follow on Rumble. We really appreciate it. I will see you on the radio show here in a little bit and back here tomorrow as we wrap the week up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time live. And wait, one final thing. Thank you to my team, Paula, Jasmine. Today's show is brought to you by Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Today's show also brought to you by, man, my eyesight's good. You believe I can read that? I know what Guy's thinking. Guy's always telling me, hey, my eyes ain't that great. I can actually read that sucker. Hey, you don't go out and buy a life jacket when the boat's already sinking. You don't buy gold when the economy's already collapsed. Clearly, others are heeding the advice as gold hit all-time highs in the first part of 2025. It's not too late for you too. The company I use to diversify into physical gold is Birch Gold, BIRCH. It's a company I buy my gold from. Birch Gold specializes in helping you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA of physical gold for no money out of pocket. Just listen to this 5-star review. Knowledgeable, helpful, no pressure. That's what you get with Birch Gold. That's why I've endorsed them, and they've been a member advertising on the show for a while now. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Dan to the number 989898. There's no obligation, just useful information with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Text Dan to 989898. Let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future today. With gold, message and data rates apply. Do we have a bell? No, don't even know. No, you can't. You can't. Guy said he'll put it in post, meaning afterwards there'd be a bell effect where I would go and there's no bell and he pretends there's a bell. But no, it's okay. It's okay. These guys are working at light speed to get me in the studio. But really, what do you think of the visuals? Show the production room, guys. I want everybody to see you. You can see Justin, 72 feet tall. Michael's like 72 and a half feet tall. Guy, the founder, there he is. He's still telling me how Rogue One is fantastic. Look at him. He's got a little note on his desk.
Hello.
Awesome it is. We got the production room. These guys can even talk. Can you guys say something over the thing? Will that go over the thing you just showed me? Don't say anything about Rogue One. I'll cut you right out. But they could actually go over and broadcast over the thing. I'm throwing way too many curveballs at these. Look, look, there you go. There he goes. So we're really proud of this. A couple of thank yous. I want to thank the lovely Paula first, who this was her project. Make no mistake, folks. I had absolutely nothing to do with this other than earning some money to build it. I did nothing. All of this stuff was Paula, the wall behind us. That's bricks from New York because we have the old New York thing. That's a real iron piling. All of this stuff was her. She designed the whole thing. So thank you, Paula. Thank you, the production team. Guy, Michael, Justin, everyone else who was in here working tireless hours. We appreciate that. And thank you, Jasmine, our business manager, who was in here helping Paula keep everything in line. And a big thank you to Ronnie Kirchman from Kirchman Contracting, who built this lovely studio on time and with very few issues, relatively speaking, considering the breadth of the project. So thank you, guys. And, you know, we can work on a bookcase in the background a little bit. We can add and mix around some new stuff. So, but this is a picture of the old studio. Guy and the team put together a kind of before and after. This is what the old studio looked like. Imagine this train wreck, jerry-rigged operation. I don't even know what half that stuff is anymore. Because, Guy, remember we just kept piling stuff upon stuff? There is Guy. Somebody said, wow, on Facebook, Guy's such a handsome guy. I'm like, hey, hold on, chill out there. Kim won't like that.
The mini golf.
There is the little mini golf thing on the side. There's the kitchen in a new place, so we figured we'd give you a little virtual tour. There are the offices. One of those will be Paula's. So you liking it so far? And this is a mural. I want to show you this. This is amazing. Paula had commissioned this mural. Oh, what was that? What was his name? Juan Travieso. What a talented guy. That is not a stencil-like thing, folks, where you just like spray painted. So he did that by hand, Juan. He did the thing by hand. He was here, a week? Him and his wife, almost on 24-hour shifts. That is all painted by hand. So amazing. That is in the lobby of the new studio. So it really looks incredible. And there you go. It's not all done yet. There's a couple more kind of knick-knack, doodad things we got to put in there. But you like it? This was for you guys. We want to make sure you got the best-looking product out there. Look at that. That's Haley's office right there. Haley's actually sitting in that seat right now, in the seat you just saw, but she's in it. That's the only different part of the visual landscape of what's going on right now. Paula's right next to the camera right there. But this is our first show. I'm ecstatic to be here. I feel like this is kind of my life's work coming together in this one physical place. So let's do some content. How do you feel about that? Yesterday, we saw another messaging debacle up on Capitol Hill as the Democrats, who are rudderless right now and seem to be out at sea, wandering around with no ability to use the light to get back to the shore, they don't seem to have any direction at this point. And when it comes to the immigration issue, which they took a big L on in the election, nobody doubts that. They took and dropped a big L. It was the border, it was inflation, and it was this sense of weaponized government that were probably 3 of the top 10 issues that contributed to this 7 swing state, just absolute disaster for them in the 2024 election. So yesterday, the Republicans brought out up on Capitol Hill in front of committee, they brought out a couple of liberal, big, Brandon Johnson types, liberal city mayors, and they wanted them to answer basic questions on immigration. The hearing did not go well for the Democrats. But I want to play this clip of Senator Mark Warner first, who is forced in a swing state like Virginia now to admit the obvious, that because the numbers have dropped so dramatically at the border, everything we told you was true. The Immigration and Nationality Act allows the President of the United States to stop any class of illegal migrants at any time, for any given period of time, for any reason, and Joe Biden just didn't want to do it. So here's Mark Warner, and I want you to pay attention to the stammering around in the answer as he's forced to admit, basically Trump was right. Check this out.
Do you agree with that assessment that Donald Trump is the only thing that's needed to change the circumstances at the border?
I think it is good that we're at a 25-year low in terms of border crossing. My words yesterday, they were not great. Let me be the first to acknowledge that. And I think what he's doing to our economy and our
Why weren't they great? Why weren't they great?
Because the notion that the numbers are down, which I think is good for America, and I think the vast majority of Americans realized President Biden didn't have a secure enough border. Those numbers are down. That's good news for our country. But the idea that that becomes an ability to sanction ICE to have, unfettered immigration raids doesn't make sense. So my choice of words yesterday, I'd like to take them back. The data does exist on the numbers being down. What we've got to do going forward, and we again heard last night from a president who had a State of the Union that I'll stand by my words was the least amount of outreach to anybody who didn't vote for him, that doubled down on all the MAGA issues. Wasn't a good night for America last night.
It wasn't a good night. What are you talking about? It was a great night for America. It was just a bad night for you. What a bad night for America. Notice the little sleight of hand he does there, too. You see this often with politicians. By the way, both parties, they all do it. But when they're caught in a corner on a question, he knows this guy's not stupid. Mark Warner's been around forever, Democrat from Virginia, obviously on the Senate side. He's not a dumb guy. It may make you feel good to say he's a dumb guy, but he's not. He knows what he's doing. Mark Warner knows in the state of Virginia that illegal immigration is a growing problem for him and his party, because they're the party of pro-illegal immigration. They just are. They can fake it all they want. So what does he do? He has to engage in this euphemisms game to pretend that he's not for what he's for. Like, here's what I'm for, but I can't tell you what I'm for. The Schatz doctrine, in other words. The Brian Schatz, the senator who has this theory out there that Democrats should continue to do radically left crazy stuff, just don't tell people about it. So I want you to pay attention to that clip, if you rewind it and go back, if you watch it on demand, how he's struggling to answer the question. It's okay to say Donald Trump has, relatively to speaking, in contrast to Joe Biden's illegal immigration encounters at the border, that Donald Trump has fixed the problem. It's okay to say that. You might actually look like a bit of a pragmatist in what's returning to a swing state kind of status, I think, Virginia. He doesn't want to do that. So he stammers and he moves all around and he tries to kind of distract you with, look, shiny red object stuff. But what kind of ticked me off the most about that clip is he says, well, that's no excuse to engage in unfettered immigration raids. Well, I would have followed up if I was the host. She's a liberal. She's not going to follow up and ask real questions. What do you mean unfettered? Oh, I assure you there's fettering when it comes to immigration raids. They have rules, administrative procedures, the law. They have the Bill of Rights, the Constitution they have to abide by. You see the distraction mechanism they engage in all the time when they know they're at an issue they're losing on significantly? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Flipping up the camera. You like the lighted flag there? Oh, yeah, look at it. No, right there. It actually goes in the right direction this time. Check that out. Flip to the other one, too. I'm enjoying this too much. Look at that. That's like the pan-out camera. These guys, these guys are loving this. It's great. We got 2 shots, 3 shots. Now we can do interviews and all kinds of stuff. Vince has some crazy good interviews lined up for you. Is that another shot? That's like the look at you guys. What are you laughing at? Jasmine's like cracking up in there. They all think this is funny because they keep throwing, because I see it on return. I hear Jasmine and she's like cackling. I'm like, you guys laughing at, making fun of me during my show. So the hearing was a genius move, by the way. You have to remember, the Democrats have been traditionally good at messaging in the past. And if you ever read the book, Revolt Against the Masses by Fred Siegel, great book. I'm not the publisher. I have no vested interest in it at all. It's just a really great book. He talks about basically the revolt against the masses, how liberalism is a response, an attack on the middle class. He mentions in the book how they had this superb mechanism lined up for years. The media, activist groups, and congressional committees. You see how Republicans are starting to emulate this strategy now? Conservative media, activist groups, congressional committees, learning how to get a message out there. The hearing up on Capitol Hill with these liberal mayors, Michelle Wu from Boston, Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, was the perfect opportunity to just ask them, well, what are you doing about this? It appears through your sanctuary city status that you're incentivizing illegal immigration. This did not end well when an excellent congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna, decided to take this thing up one notch regarding some referrals. Check this out.
So you don't believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8, Code subsection 1324, and is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last minute?
Yes, sir.
You know, this is my first time explaining this from the new studio here. There is a reason that Democrats enjoy open borders, and I'll use the word unfettered, but in the correct way here, unfettered open immigration. regardless of process or procedure. There is a way to migrate to the country. You can get a visa, you can go through the formal process in your own country and be welcomed in. You can enter at a port of entry and make various claims. What you cannot do is enter any place you want at any time for any reason you want. I think that's clear. However, first time explaining from the new studio, the Dems have had this argument for a long time going on internally, and they've actually aired it. They call it demographic destiny. When you talk about the exact same thing, they call it replacement theory, but it's the exact same thing, make no mistake. What the Democrats are referring to is a shift in the demographic makeup of the United States that they think, the destiny part, will lead them to a long-term grip on national power. Here's the process for them. They're having a real problem right now. The Electoral College is an issue for them. Swing states are starting to float in our direction, as you saw in the last election. Why? Because a lot of liberal people who live in these cities are being left behind in California, while conservatives, moderates, and even kind of old blue dog style Dem voters are leaving these liberal states because of poor public safety policies, high taxes, unfettered illegal immigration. So what's happening? The population of these liberal states is starting to shrink. The population that gives them Electoral College voting power. The Electoral College is based on the number of members of the House of Representatives, which depends on your population plus 2 senators. So the Democrats, who've spoken about this openly, see illegal immigration as a way to backfill people exiting these liberal states to move to more conservative states or swing states. They've talked about it over and over. I played the montage on the show 1,000 times. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a mystery. It's them actually talking about it. Do me a favor. Just look it up. Go to any search engine, put in demographic destiny. You can see 1,000 clips of them discussing this. That's what's going on here. That's why they don't have it. Oh, look at this. I can see Justin's laptop up there. That's a new one. I didn't know that before. Just don't do anything shady on the laptop in the studio. Look at, you can actually put it on the screen. Yeah, demographic destiny. You can see they talk about this stuff all the time, all the time. Here was the mayor of Boston, who is just disgracefully the other day sent her condolences and thoughts and prayers to a suspect in a case of a stabbing where an off-duty police officer acted rather heroically, by the way. You mean she sent the condolences to the police officer? No, to the other guy, the suspect in the case. So here's the mayor of Boston sending a message to illegal immigrants in many languages that basically this is your city. You could watch it yourself. I'm not making this up. Check this out.
You belong here. This is your home. Boston es tu hogar. Boston, 这里卡有，这是你的家. This is our city. We are the safest major city in the nation because we are safe for everyone.
Clearly, you're not safe for everyone. I mean, if you're in a suspected attack or in a knife attack and you find yourself in a Chick-fil-A, you're not really safe because the mayor's going to send her thoughts and prayers to the suspect bad guy with the blade in this case and not the off-duty cop. Doesn't sound safe to me. Folks, incentives matter, okay? If you are going to say to people, break the law, don't enter in a port of entry, stay here illegally, and make no effort at any point to engage with the legal immigration process, but come here, we'll protect you, you are obviously going to become a magnet for people who break the law and come here. This is not hard to figure out. They're just playing dumb. They're not actually dumb with this. Folks, they think with the hive mind, though, and that's one thing about the Democrats. They're usually better at messaging than this. This immigration story to them is one of those basically 70-30, 80-20 issues where they're in the minority in the 20-30%. They've dropped a big L on it, and they've had no ability to pull themselves out of it and say, guys, it's time to do what we did with the Bill Clinton Democrat Party and start to reorient ourselves towards the center. They're just not doing it. There's a jump cut in the show here, which I'm not supposed to talk about. They tell you in the business when you guys screw something up, you just go past it. But we had to jump cut something in this pre-recorded segment we had done there because Justin is messing around, Luke Skywalker fiddling with R2-D2 in there. And while we were doing the show, what happened? I'm looking at the feedback, the video return, and what do I see? The answer is I don't see anything. I see nothing but black. I mean black, like the absence of any picture whatsoever. And why? Because Justin in there in the room, give a little wave. Go to the camera. Be like,
I plead the fifth.
So I had to like cut that thing out. So that's why there's a little jump cut in there. Like, how'd you do that? Don't ask. We got a lot of gizmos in the studio, and he's been messing with all too many of them. It's been a lot of fun so far. You enjoying the show? You like the new studio? I love it. I love it. I feel like this is my life's work here. Put so much time into this. Quick break today. Together, you and I have been fighting for the same thing: freedom, liberty, and the country we love. One of our biggest supporters over the years has been Patriot Mobile. They stuck with us through thick and thin. They did. If you're part of the Bongino Army, you should check out Patriot Mobile. You need to keep supporting companies that share our values and stand for what we believe in. You can switch to Patriot Mobile with confidence, knowing you can get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all 3 major networks. Not only you have the Dan Bongino Show guarantee, you'll get the Patriot Mobile coverage guarantee. Remember, every dollar you spend supports a company that believes in the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veteran and first responder heroes. Switching's easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will find the perfect plan for you, your family, even your business. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month of service with promo code Dan. Truth is, I can't think of a single reason you shouldn't be on Patriot Mobile. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. And our next sponsor is MyPillow. We love MyPillow. MyPillow is excited to announce they're having the first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only are $59.98. Kings only are $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on the brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. So get the 2025 6-piece My towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. Take advantage of the first ever mega sale. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Dan, or call 1-800-637-4982. But remember, that $75 free shipping rule, well, that ship is sale because right now every order ships absolutely free. Shop their first ever mega sale with free shipping on every order. Once again, go to mypillow.com and use promo code Dan or call 1-800-637-4982. Thanks, MyPillow. We appreciate it. I know you may have seen this, but it goes back to a point I've made repeatedly about the Borg hive mind Democrats, how when you're a collectivist, which is the essence of what progressive liberal Democrat values are these days, we should all share in the wealth, even wealth you didn't create. We should share in other people's wealth. The essence of that is that you have to act collectively. I'll be candid with you. That the only downside, tactically, not ideologically or morally, to being a bedrock Republican who loves our values and conservatism is we're entrepreneurs and we're believers in freedom and individual liberty. We don't want to be told what to do. Tactically, that creates a coordination problem. It creates kind of what they call in economics a prisoner's dilemma. Democrats don't have that problem. They get a message, they go out there, and they all just repeat the same thing. Here we go. Did you check this out? Here, listen to this video. This is, what is this? The shit that's a lie or something like that? But watch how they all got the message and just the exact same script over and over and over again. Check this out.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one, Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down. They're up. Inflation is getting worse. The prices of groceries, gas, eggs, of essentials. It's not getting better. It's getting worse.
Okay, I have no problem with a message getting out there, but can you improv at least a few words? Change an and to a but, put a semicolon where a period was, maybe a comma, maybe an exclamation point. Maybe act it out differently. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, Dan, it was just 5 of them. No, it was more. The only reason we're going to play this one first is there's so many of them, it sounds like nothing but static when you play it all together. You doubt me? Here, check this out. That is the tactical benefit of thinking with the hive mind. They all repeat endlessly the same things over and over and over again. The rich don't pay their fair share. This is all they do. They think collectively. They're taught to not think individually or else they'd be conservatives. And they're not. We're here. They're there. Folks, I want to move on to the continuing ongoing situation with the Ukraine deal and the tariff situation. I've explained to you repeatedly that Donald Trump is clearly using tariffs as a negotiating point right now. I'm going to get to that. But he is not kidding. You know, if you fall into the trap of take Donald Trump seriously but not literally, you're going to blow it and you're going to lose. Whether you always know the person sitting across from you at the negotiating table. No, take him seriously and take him literally, because he is not kidding. He is demanding an end to this. It's just stunning how the formerly Give Peace a Chance, I mean, they had songs about it, left, is now upset at Donald Trump for engaging in a negotiation pathway in a war that at this point is not going well for either side, frankly. And you have a side, just put up the, I'll explain after you see this AP headline, okay? He is not kidding when he says, we are out. If you are not interested in engaging in this exit ramp off this war highway onto peace exit 62, whatever, that's the exit I lived off the LIE, then we're out. He's not kidding. AP, Trump pauses U.S. military aid to Ukraine while pressuring Zelensky to move quickly to end the war. Do not fall in that trap. You are making a catastrophic mistake. Here is another politician in Canada, north of us, who is making another catastrophic mistake. He keeps one-upping the argument with Donald Trump over tariffs. We have not had free and open access on all fronts into Canadian markets for a long time. Donald Trump is a transactional guy. Now, whether you agree or disagree with tariffs, I've stated my position 1,000 times. I don't want to bore you with it. There is simply no doubt that although we benefit from a friendly relationship with Canada, we certainly wouldn't want an enemy up north. There is no doubt that the inverse is true as well, that they benefit from us. No one's going to invade Canada. Why? Because the United States military is located just south and would never allow hemispheric dominance by some other world power like China or Russia. Not going to happen. There is a benefit there. It is a direct benefit of being regionally located just north of us. There's also a lot of trade that happens. It benefits both countries here, and these are not our enemies. But Donald Trump is saying, hey, we want access, dairy, everything. We want this Canadian market to be fully free and open, and if it's not, then we're going to tariff your products coming in. And now you have, Doug Ford up there in Canada. We're going to cancel contracts with Starlink. This is not helping. This is not helping. I understand the situation you're in, but it is not helping. Trying to one-up and engage in chest puffery with Donald Trump is a huge mistake. He feeds off this stuff. He knows he has the upper hand. So here's Justin Trudeau suggesting that we're going to keep booing the American national anthem. How does this help? This pro tip, dump this line of attack. It's not working. Check this out.
We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach or wherever. We're going to choose to try to buy Canadian products and forego bourbon and other classic American products. And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem.
I'm not sure how that turns the temperature down on the tariff argument and this ongoing Donald Trump transactional spreadsheet where he sees this as NATO, Canada, and other countries taking advantage of the United States' implicit, if not explicit, security guarantee. It's not helping. There comes a time, all the best life advice you're ever going to have is in that Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. Sometimes you just got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when to walk away and when to run. This is a time to run away from this. It is not going to end well on the economic front. It just isn't. You don't have the leverage Donald Trump does. Here's Justin Trudeau's message to President Trump. This wasn't a smart move either. Check this out.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
I'm really not sure how this helps. I'm not. Let me help you, to Trudeau. I'm going to help you out. I'm not in the business of agreeing with the Wall Street Journal. You said I'm not in the business of agreeing with you or giving you pro tips or advice, but I will here. You are engaging in negotiations with a man that sees that the United States has been taken advantage of for a long time. I've said many times on this show, because it matters to me, having lost family members in wars overseas, the United States has shed a lot of blood and a lot of treasure in the defense of countries around the world, not named the United States. Donald Trump has seen what happened in Iraq, a war he never supported. He saw the writing on the wall there. He saw what happened in Afghanistan and other places where we've tried our best to do this democracy-building, old school Republican approach to national security geopolitics. He doesn't see results. He sees a NATO military cooperative arrangement that is largely backed by the United States, despite the United States not being regionally co-located in roughly the same place as some of the enemies NATO is meant to protect against. He sees a Canadian arrangement economically. It's worked out great, but there are a lot of downsides. There's a lot of restrictions on what we can sell into Canada, despite the fact that Canada relies heavily on us. Again, I'm not in the pro-tip business for Democrats, but I have been for the last few days. If you've been listening to the show, I'm just telling you, dial it down, man. This isn't going to work. I don't know what you're getting out of this. You may get some puffery, and who knows, you may be bumping up in your approval rating polls, but you're not helping anyone. All right. I haven't covered this. One of Donald Trump's superpowers, I forget who was arguing this the other day, but it was a genius take that he has this magical, but it was Scott Jennings. He has this magical ability to take an 80-20 issue where 80% of the people are with him, and he gets his political opponents to jump in with the 20. That's not how you build a coalition in politics and win. And one of them is men and women's sports, men and girls sports. It is an absolute loser, like the immigration issue we covered at the beginning of the show. When are you guys going to get this on the left? What is it going to take? What is it going to take? A 49 out of 50 state Reagan landslide? Last break, and we'll get back to that. It said that 4 companies control over 80% of the U.S. meat industry. Reports say China now controls the largest portion of U.S. pork. These companies are using tactics to crush American family farms. And with the additives they're putting into our food, Americans are stuck with sketchy meat. So what can we do about this? Let me tell you about a company that's coming out swinging on behalf of the American family farms and your family's food security. Moink, M-O-I-N-K. Moink's meat comes from families from animals raised outdoors, and they deliver meat straight to your doorstep at prices you can actually afford. Born, raised, and harvested right here in the United States of America, they just sent me some of their meat. It was absolutely fantastic. You're going to enjoy it. You can really taste the difference in quality. It's amazing. It makes a big difference in the meals for my family. We like to eat healthy, and we like it to taste good. Everything tastes amazing. Support American family farms. Join the Moink movement today at moinkbox.com/Bongino. And get free wings for life. The best wings you'll ever taste for free, but for a limited time. Spelled M-O-I-N-K, M-O-I-N-K, moinkbox.com/Bongino. That's moinkbox.com/Bongino. Did you guys see me laughing there? Jasmine's sitting over here, and Haley's in the office. And like everything just went dark in here. I'm like, let me turn this thing on. I mean, it went dark, like pitch black. Like that Vin Diesel movie when he's like the only guy who can see in the dark. Jasmine was the only one. She had the Vin Diesel glasses on in there. And she's like, everybody's like looking around. All right, I'm being a little bit dramatic. Haley's like, dude, it was out for like 1 second. But it made for a good story. Because I saw Jasmine roll over like, I don't know. There's a light in here. I don't know what's going on. What's that? How about coffee? Oh, here he is. Guy's doing it again. He's like, you like blackout coffee? I love blackout coffee. I've obviously had a few cups today being so geeked up on caffeine today. It's time for you to be awake, not woke. Start your day with a hot America First cup of Blackout coffee like I do. Blackout Coffee is an active supporter of hardworking Americans that see work as their duty. They love the country. They honor and take care of their customers more than any other coffee company out there. Blackout Coffee uses premium grade coffee beans. You know, sometimes you drink this woke garbage coffee, you don't even know what premium grade beans taste like. They use lower grade beans, a lot of these companies. That's why you get that bitter tasting coffee. Not Blackout? Skip those long lines at the store and order online. For bold, never bitter coffee. The folks at Blackout Coffee ship within 48 hours of roasting. It's fresh. It's great. Do me a favor. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. See what I'm talking about. They're the real deal. Quit drinking that woke corporate junk coffee every morning. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino, or use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. You're going to love it. Again, Donald Trump, he has a lot of these magic powers. Not everything is, 4D chess. He doesn't think that way about himself. However, getting people to reflexively anti-Trump response to support open borders and men and women's sports has been such a disaster. You wonder at what point they say, guys, it's, I'm not a fisherman, but it's time to cut bait. Like, just slice the damn fishing line at this point. It's not working. Here are Democrats at the joint address to Congress the other night. The Democrats, you would think this would be a great opportunity for them to get up and clap for a girl who was severely injured playing with a man in volleyball who shouldn't have been in women's sports, but nope. Sound bites and snapshots. This was a bad snapshot. Check this out.
Years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
Oh, just get up and clap. It's not hard. As I said yesterday, give the golf clap. You don't even have to touch hands. Sometimes I broke my right hand. Can you see it now with this new camera? You see that bump? Oh, you can see that. Look at that. I don't want to tell you how I broke it, but I broke my right hand. Just give like an air clap. Whatever. Look, can you see that? Look at that. You see that lump? You can see that. That is an actual, look at that. When I broke it, I go to the doctor, and I'm at the hospital for special surgery. I think that's what it was called. And he comes in, and the doctor was trying to be funny. I thought it was hilarious, too. At the time, my hand was swollen up like a basketball. He's like, I think you broke the LFBs. I'm like, what are the LFBs? He's like, little freaking bones. I'm like, is that bad? He's like, it's bad. Still okay, though, knock on wood. You like the desktop, too? While we're doing the new studio thing? This was Paula's idea. You like this? Is this real wood? It is? Jasmine says, yes, it is real wood. This is called apparently a live edge on the thing. I didn't know what live edge meant. I thought like it was going to have graphics on it or something, like one of those tickers for the stock market. But live edge means like it's actual, this is the contour of the wood. This was a Paula idea. This is a new desk, too. Same mic, though. Same microphone. This is the mic from the other studio. Guy was like yesterday, him and Michael both sent me a text. Look at this, the side shot. Check that out. Well, I kind of blend into the background. Looks like a floating head right there. If you're missing this, by the way, on Apple and Spotify, you got to check this out. Okay, back to the show, because I do this all the time. Here is one of the best secretaries I've seen in a long time. Dan, it's only been a month. I've got enough of a sample size to roll with at this point. She's been doing a great job, Caroline Levitt. Here she is talking about the Democrats sitting on their hands for this when they had a golden opportunity for a rapprochement with America on the issue. Nice fancy SAT word. Get up and just pretend to clap. Check this out.
Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats exposed themselves as the party of insanity and hate, the party that wants to put America last. They've allowed their Trump derangement syndrome to stop them from celebrating America and our people, and we will not allow them to forget that.
So thankfully, let's see if these guys see what I'm doing here. They're like, Dan, don't mess around. It's our first day in the new studio. I love messing around, and I can't stop. There was a Minnesota state rep who stepped up for the Democrats. Wouldn't you agree, fellas? She was like, I'm going to bring some sanity back to this. This is clearly not the right approach to take. Guys, let's speak out clearly. Women deserve their own spaces in sports. There are biological differences. So, fellas, thank you for cutting this. Don't you agree? Stepped up, right? Everybody give a round of applause. Minnesota, this is Minnesota State Rep Alicia Kozlowski. So stepping up, trying to moderate the Democrat position that somehow men should be in women's sports. And thank you for putting this in the show. And thank you, Rep Alicia Kozlowski, for doing the right thing, not the easy thing. Play that cut.
Make no mistake that this is just another version of state-sanctioned bullying and genocide. And I don't say that loudly.
Of course, we were kidding. There is no moderate voice on this issue. It is bullying and state-sanctioned genocide. How exactly is that? Do you care to line that out with some data? Because you use that word. It's a very sensitive word to me. I hear genocide. We want to fix that problem real quick. Kind of curious what data you have to back that up. So stopping a man from smashing a ball into a young girl's face and breaking her nose and giving her a brain injury is somehow genocide. You really sure, again, this is the hill you all want to die on here. Here is a list of the Democrats who blocked the No Men in Women's Sports Act. It's not a small list, folks. There are a lot of them, and I don't understand how tactically a party that's typically smart, obviously I'm not a Democrat, but they're typically tactically smarter than this. You don't think that these names on this list, that this is going to be broadcast in every midterm campaign commercial if they're running, that they voted against this? It's an 80-20 issue, man. You're on the wrong side of this. You're on the wrong side of history. But again, who am I to give you advice? I don't buy into that stuff. Anyway, I don't have to. Folks, the reason the left continues to do this is because there's money in it. Gerrymandering, the way the congressional districts are carved up, you profit, at least your campaign coffers do, from engaging in radicalism. You do. And the base of the Democrat Party is very powerful when it comes to this magnetic pull over to their side. Gerrymandering's got a lot to do with it. I think social media has a lot to do with it. No one wants to be crushed on Twitter, so they don't want to say anything because they feel like if they say anything, they'll become the target of everybody's ire on Twitter. However, censorship is still a bedrock portion of this radical far-left approach, and it's a damn shame because this is no way to move forward in a free constitutional republic. Globalists love this too. I want you to listen to this. Here is UN Chief Antonio Guterres. A free speech on social media basically must be stopped because if we show you clips like this and women getting hit in the face with volleyballs and smashed as men are spiking volleyballs in their face, then it may kind of turn the public against them. So what's the solution? Ban it, censorship. Check this out.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
Every time with the censorship. What is with this globalist crowd and censorship? What are you so afraid of? You afraid that me and Justin, by the way, Justin's on X now too. I saw that the other day. Got like all this professional photo. You're afraid we're actually going to expose you for you? Here's another one they don't want out there. This is excellent Congressman Tim Burchett, right? Asking a question about tax dollars funding terror. See, if this is the kind of thing, if you're not doing it, you're not worrying about censoring it because you're not doing it. But if our tax dollars are funding terrorism, the only way to stop people from figuring out, how is it, guys? Is to censor it. Notice we don't have this problem. I hate censorship. Watch this exchange. This is the kind of stuff they don't want you to see. Check this out.
Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
You don't have to censor that stuff if it's not happening. Justin, why? Because it's not happening. So there's nothing to censor.